So for those of you who are just tuning in, this is a class on auditioning and acting, mainly what I call layered acting, which is just doing two things at the same time. And we watch video clips from movies. So folks, today we are back to monologues. This is a little clip from a play called The House of Blue Leaves, which was written, I think, in 1971. This production that this clip is taken from was from 1985, and we'll be watching, I was about to say, a very young Ben Stiller. But then I just thought, Ben Stiller today is still a very young Ben Stiller. In fact, I sometimes get him mixed up with Paul Rudd. So today's monologue is all about energy. And let me tell you, energy is hard. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. A little goes a long way. But there are people who know how to do it. I'm not going to say too much about the context of this monologue within this play as a whole. A, because you don't really need it, but B, because when you do these monologues for these situations, the people watching don't get the context. So I think it's perfectly fair to watch it under those same circumstances. I will tell you more about it after. But there are a few little things that I want to make sure you know before you watch this. You probably already do. One, Life magazine and Look magazine were two of the biggest American popular news and entertainment magazines. They were everywhere. Also, there was a good long time there, maybe 70 or so years, when the single most famous 3.5 minutes of classical ballet were The Dying Swan. So I'm going to show you just a little bit of the end of The Dying Swan. So now, Ben Stiller in The House of Blue Leaves.
My father tell you all about me? Hope Ronnie, charmed life, how great I am. Well, that's how he is with you. You should hear him with me. You'd sing a different tune pretty quick and it wouldn't be Where's the Devil in Evelyn. I was 12 years old, and all the newspapers had headlines on my 12th birthday that Billy was coming to town. And Life was doing stories on him, and Look, and the newsreels, because Billy was searching America to find the ideal American boy to play Huckleberry Finn. And Billy came to New York and called my father and asked if he could stay here. Billy needed a hideout. In Waldorf Astorias all over the country, chambermaids would wheel in silver carts to change the sheets, and out of the sheets would hop little boys saying, "Hello, I'm Huckleberry Finn." All over the country, little boys dressed in blue jeans and straw hats would be sent to him in crates. would be under the silver cover covering his dinner. Would be in his medicine cabinet in all his hotel rooms in his suitcase. Hello, I'm Huckleberry Finn. And he was coming here to hide out. Here, Billy coming here. I asked the nun in school who was Huckleberry Finn. The nun at Queen of Martyrs knew. She told me. The ideal American boy. And coming home, all the store windows reflected me, and the mirror in the tailor shop said, "Hello, Huck." the butcher shop window, said, "Hello, Huck. Hello, Huckleberry Finn. All America wants to meet Billy, and he'll be hiding out in your house." Wow! I came home, went in there, went into my room, and packed my bag. I knew Billy would see me and take me back to California with him that very day. This room smelled of ammonia and air freshener, and this couch was new that day. And my parents were filling up the icebox in their brand new clothes and filling up the icebox with food and liquor, as excited as if the Pope was coming, and nervous because they hadn't seen him in a while. Billy. They told me my new clothes were on my bed to go get dressed. I didn't want to tell them I'd be leaving shortly to start a new life. That I'd be flying out to California with Billy on the HMS Huckleberry. I didn't want tears from them, only trails of envy. I went in my room, packed my bag, and waited. The doorbell rang. If you listen close, you can still hear the echoes of those wet kisses, and handshakes, and tears, and backs getting hit. And hello, Billy's, hello! And they talked for a long time about people from their past. Then my father called out, "Ronnie, guess who? Billy, we named him after your father. Ronnie, guess who?" So I picked up my bag, said goodbye to myself in the mirror, and came out. Billy there, smiling. It suddenly dawned on me you had to do things to get parts. I began dancing and singing immediately. Things I'd never done in my life before or since. I stood on my head and skipped and whirled and made these spectacular leaps up in the air so I could see veins in the ceiling. And ran up and down the keys of the piano and sang and began laughing. Yes! And crying. Soft and then loud to show off all my emotions. And I was hearing music and drums that I couldn't even keep up with. Wow! Oh. And then I cut off all my emotion. Just like that, instantly. And took a deep bow like the dying swan I saw on Ed Sullivan. I picked up my bag and waited by the door. Billy turned to my parents, whose jaws were about down to here. And Billy said, "You never told me I had an idiot for a godchild." And I picked up my bag, went in my room, shut the door, and never came out the whole time he was here. My only triumph was he could never find a Huckleberry Finn. Another company made the picture a few years later, but it flopped.
Okay, you could end the monologue right here. That's a somewhat natural end point. But let's just keep going just a little bit longer to Ronnie's actual exit.
My father thinks I'm nothing. Billy, my sergeant, they laugh at me. You laughing at me? Yeah, no, I'm gonna fool you all, but tonight I'll be on headlines all over the world, the cover of Time, Life. Yeah, go ahead, laugh. Because you know what I think of you? Sorry. No, I'm sorry to hear that. You paid $30, $35 to hear that. No, but I don't care. Hey, I'm going to show you all. I'll be too big for any of you.
So, two things. How's that for two things? One, you got a 20-year-old mad bomber terrorist, and the other is a confused and hurt 12-year-old boy. So when you're doing a monologue where a character is describing some event from the past, it gives you a great acting opportunity because you can go back and forth between two completely different sets of emotions. One, in this case, the 20-year-old emotions, and the other, the 12-year-old emotions. And this gives you such a wonderful range of things to play, to, display how great you are. It's a little kid's dreams of success and being a champion. And it's that same little kid's dreams of revenge on a world that has wronged him. Just because it's all coming out of a 20-year-old body doesn't mean it's not a 12-year-old's emotions. So normally I'm talking about doing two things at the same time, and that's for the sake of clarity and simplicity. In this case, I think we can just go ahead and talk about the three things at the same time. And they're on different layers. I would say the uppermost layer, the one that everybody's seen most clearly, is Ronnie's apparent happiness and excitement. But right beneath that layer, that's where all the anger and the resentment and the, you might even say, rage are lurking. Underneath all that is the source of all the anger, resentment, and rage, which is this sadness and humiliation. The emotion I think that Ben Stiller is going for here is a 12-year-old's confusion. And the confusion is, I think, more heartbreaking than just about any other choice he could have made. And the emotions are, springing back and forth like electrons around an atom in these different emotional states. That is a pretty good metaphor, if I do say so myself. Ben Stiller's energy in this is at 11, but that's not just Ben Stiller. That's this entire production. This is a pretty famous production from Broadway, and everybody was at this level. Here's John Mahoney playing his father.
Well, I get nervous about calling you, because, and I'm not asking for any old anxiety treatment, but it must be kind of lonely with Georgina gone. And we sent out $5 to that Damon Runyon Cancer Fund, like Walter Winchell said to do. And we're going to send some more, and it must be kind of lonely. And I thought maybe the three of us, you and Bunny and I, could get together, have some laughs. What do you say?
And here's Swoosie Kurtz playing his mother.
I run over to President Johnson and grab him by the arm. Get in! And pull Jackie Kennedy into my car. And John, who I didn't see, starts crying. And Jackie hits me. And I hit her. And I grabbed Bob Hope and pushed Cardinal Spellman into the back seat, crying and laughing. I'll take you where you want to go. Get in. Give me your suitcases.
Everybody is hitting these levels. I don't know if you could do a production of House of Blue Leaves that was low-key. I don't think so. By the time the bombs start going off and the nuns are running around, you're pretty much forced to go very high-key. And boy, is Ben Stiller running through this at top speed. This audience is laughing pretty consistently, pretty loudly. Does that mean that you should expect laughs if you do it from the people who are watching? Probably not. Given that there's not going to be that many of them, they're not going to have a chance to get into that audience mind state. You shouldn't expect these people to laugh. Don't let it throw you if you're doing something that you think is funny and nobody's laughing. That's just the way these things are, and there's nothing you can do about that. Don't let anything that they do throw you. They can make some strange sounds. They can make some strange expressions. Don't worry about it. It's got nothing to do with you. Just keep going ahead. So as he's exiting, Ronnie just does this, which is kind of a strangely contradictory gesture. It seems sort of friendly, sort of normal, and it doesn't seem like the kind of thing a mad bomber or a terrorist would do. And I like these little contradictions. They can be very effective if they are well chosen. You don't want something that's random and weird that just makes the audience scratch their head. It has to be something well-timed and well-picked so that it is indicating the other, less visible side of the character. And in general, contradictions are great if you're playing a human being because human beings are such contradictory creatures. Right here,
Sorry.
Ronnie apologizes to the audience. And if he's capable of apologizing for something that small, then it means he can't be too far gone. So if you hear me saying, that it's good to put in contradictory elements, that doesn't mean you just drop in the exact opposite. You can't just suddenly have all this energy go away and have Ronnie be exhausted. You just have to have a variety of ways to show his intensity. And there can be high-key intensity and there can be low-key intensity. So I guess what I'm saying is there's another way to play this in which the actor is playing Ronnie as somebody who is sitting on all this rage, all this excitement, and all this sorrow, and it just sort of bursts out in little moments here and there. There's a saying, revenge is a dish best served cold, and Ronnie's been sitting on this for 8 years. If I had to direct somebody into giving the performance that Ben Stiller is giving here, what would I say? 1, I would say that the energy this character, that Ronnie felt as a 12-year-old trying to get this part of Huckleberry Finn, has merged with the energy he feels about this bomb plot. He is incredibly excited about his bomb plot and how famous it's going to make him, and he's incredibly excited about getting this part of Huckleberry Finn. But just regular excitement about your hopes for the future don't necessarily get you to that level of energy. This particular kind of high energy, this excitement, this yeah, man, it doesn't happen very often in life, and a lot of us don't have a lot of experience with it. So when we're doing it, we're doing something that we've seen in movies, and that's not enough. What does get you there is rage, fury, anger. And it's the rage and the anger that is allowing him to get that high, that energized. The easiest way to get beginning actors or non-actors to look like they can act is to get them angry, because that level of energy, we all can tap into the anger. I'm sorry to say that the human race is at a place where we all can tap into our anger very easily. But the anger is being sublimated, if that's the right word, into something that looks more like happiness and excitement, but it's not. When you've got a sort of long list or descriptive list of things like this character is going through here.
In Waldorf Astorias all over the country, chambermaids would wheel in silver carts to change the sheets, and out of the sheets would hop little boys saying, "Hello, I'm Huckleberry Finn." All over the country, little boys dressed in blue jeans and straw hats would be sent to him in crates. would be under the silver cover covering his dinner. Would be in his medicine cabinet in all his hotel rooms in his suitcase. Hello, I'm Huckleberry Finn.
It can be hard to sustain a through line of emotion as you go down all the things. Just remember, don't concentrate on what the character is feeling as he goes down this long list. Just stick to what your character is trying to get out of the person he's talking to. Don't think about the character. Think about the effect the character is trying to have on whoever is listening. All right, so what does Ronnie want out of this audience? And he's talking straight to the audience. It's just that he really needs for them to know that this was a national mania. It wasn't just Ronnie. It was everybody. Everybody wanted that part. Only maybe Ronnie wanted it just a little bit more than everybody else. This play was written in 1971, and the first Broadway production was a pretty big flop. This was 14 years later in 1985, and it was a huge hit, and it saved this play from obscurity. And this doesn't happen that often. It happens in theater, but not that often, and it pretty much never happens in movies or TV. I can only think of one, The Golden Compass. No, 2. Percy Jackson. So there is a little something that I should address here in case any of you are moved to go and look at this play. I have cut out a little teeny tiny bit that includes a word that polite society no longer uses. This play was written in 71, but we don't need to hear it today because luckily for us, there are included in this monologue two different punchlines. One that includes the word that we no longer use and a completely serviceable alternative. So,
Truthful Parson Brown, living in a southern town, for doing good and talking good, he was known around. He had a most peculiar way of preaching on the Sabbath day.
I get nervous about calling you. And I'm not asking for any old lang syne treatment, but it must be kind of lonely with Georgina gone. And we sent $5 into the David Runyon Cancer Fund, like Walter Winchell said to do.